Bred by Will.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I'm Jarred, one half of the Genius at Work podcast you're about to enjoy. You know, Katelyn and I, every single week, we're seeing our views increase, we're seeing our streams increase on the podcast. And as we talk about in today's episode, it's become more commonplace where when we're out, people telling us that they've been listening. And we love that, we appreciate it, and we thank you so much. But at the same time, while our streams are increasing, we're not seeing a commensurate increase in subscribers. So the reason I called you into my office today was to ask you, please, from the bottom of our heart, if you could like, if you could subscribe, if you can comment, if you could interact with us in any way, it would mean a tremendous amount. And if everybody that was listening or watching this podcast right now did subscribe, it would mean so much to Katelyn and I. And that starts with you. You could think of it as an early Christmas gift to us. So it's super easy, it doesn't take long. I'm gonna get back to work over here and give you a little bit of time to take care of that right now, okay? Go ahead, do it, please. You good? We got it? Not yet? Okay, well, again, only takes a second. I'm still hacking away at work over here. You take your time. I'm lying. I'm not really doing work. I'm just mashing away at the keys. All set? Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you so much. It means so much to us. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. Continue to let us know in person or online what you think of the show. We love the feedback. We hope you enjoy the episode and have a very, very happy holiday season.
Bred by Will.
Merry Christmas, honey.
Happy holidays, Poozaloo.
We're here in front of our beautiful Christmas tree.
We
Look how great it's doing.
Is it?
Yes.
You just said that, and then all these needles fell off of it. As you said that, like a dozen needles fell off.
Oh, just a couple.
Okay, sure.
Otherwise,
Well,
it's thriving.
this is our Christmas podcast set.
Yeah.
It actually the lighting looks, I don't know, a little cheesy, but it's fine. We're good. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Cheesy.
No, just like it doesn't. I don't know. The other background is far more appealing, but we wanted to showcase our Christmas tree.
holidays.
Of course it is. I know.
the holidays.
No, I'm all for it. I wanted to
Okay.
get the Christmas tree. It was my idea.
Yeah. We're going to do an episode where we just go through each ornament.
Yeah, sure. We just describe why we've chosen each of the ornaments on our tree, because a lot of them do actually have like a lot of meaning, or
course.
they're based on memories of ours.
Penn's Cave and Penn State.
Yeah. We've tried to be like relatively thoughtful in the way that we've put our ornaments up and chosen our ornaments for our tree. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Maybe
we'll do that. If we run out of things to talk about, because I will say it's been another 2 weeks. We aren't putting them out every week, and it's a matter of the amount of time that we have to do it, because I think I probably
It's going to be topic of conversation tonight.
because like we like just preparing for it is a lot of work, let alone finding the time for us to sit down and shoot it, and then the editing and all the other work that goes into actually getting it up.
Check your thighs. Just like splaying.
It's like a little Christmas leg. I would say that like it's all piling up, and we'll talk about like all the other stuff that we have going on. And it's not to say that we want to slow down. It's simply a matter of finding the time and having enough to say, because we don't want to turn this into just us giving an update. But like Jay said, was it another episode of you? What did he say? Is this another episode where you talk about your weekend and how great you are, or something, or talk about your weekend and how smart you are? And I was like, yeah, actually, it is.
I mean, that is the podcast.
That's
right now, just kidding.
it. Kind of is.
It's turned into that.
Yeah.
We got some feedback,
but-
which we'll talk about
Yeah, I know.
in a little bit.
And
Which is great.
listen,
I like the feedback.
But I've also had people say, we just want to hear you talk. Like, it doesn't matter what you're saying, like, just talk. And so it's like balancing actually having something valuable to say with like literally just recapping our weekend.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do my best to make sure that when we're recapping the weekend, there's like, it's part of like the ongoing story. There's a little bit of a soap opera happening on the podcast where like there's an ongoing narrative, which was kind of the point of it. So I want to like make sure that we're weaving through all the different story threads of our mind.
Trump word.
Yeah.
His speeches and his talks.
Yeah, I mean it's like that was the point of the podcast, is to literally just document what's happening with us in real time, and like whoever wants to listen listens.
And I mean, that's also a great way for people to keep up, like friends, family, like there is a lot going on. We're doing a lot. Like, I think I struggled earlier a couple weeks ago with it being Thanksgiving and like this holiday time of year being not very present in the fact that like it's the holiday season.
Yeah.
Because it's just going and like one thing to the next, which like we signed up for it, we enjoy it. There's definitely some moments where I was having like just yesterday afternoon heading home from work, I think it was, where I called you and I was like, I'm feel like I'm burning out of fuel.
Yep. Yeah.
And you talked me through it the entire drive home just to keep me calm and helped me to like recognize that this is like a momentary thing and I'm acting this, like having this feeling because of what is going on and what we have to be going to do and what's on our next like to-do list item. But it was a little rough there yesterday.
Yeah, it was. And like I've been there a couple times over the course of the last year where I like work myself into the wall, and then I need to like ease up a little bit, and then I work into the wall. And
it's not even just like what we're doing, but like also my work, like
of course.
Is like people are getting boobs for Christmas, new bodies for the new year. It is balls to the wall crazy at work right now. It's our busiest time of year. And also, like, we want to do the social things. We want to hang out with our friends, like, go to networking events, go and do, like, these community workouts, and, like, we'll talk about all of that. But, like, finding that balance and then still maintaining, like, our mental, emotional, physical well-being.
Yeah, and, like not letting any of that stuff slip. But, like, I guess we could say, like, we've let the podcast slip a little bit because, like, we're doing it less. But, like...
We didn't put the tree up till, like, this past week, which usually the tree's up, like, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
So that was like 2 weeks late.
So like that was late. And again, if we had stuff to talk about, like if we really had something to talk about on the podcast, then it would be easy to set it up, because then like we wouldn't really need to do much prep or anything. We could just like spit. But you know, we want to make sure that we're putting out something valuable. So if we had stuff to talk about, we would be keeping up with that pace. But it's like it's easy to deprioritize this. And move it to like bi-weekly, for example. And again, like it's been an ongoing theme for the last couple months that like whenever we're out, people mention the podcast. And this past weekend was another example where we were out. This is the second week in a row we went to Powder Room, which is kind of funny. But I mean, that place is actually really cool. But it was our second week in a row we were at Powder Room, and two people while we were there had mentioned, actually, I guess the first one was at Guest House, and then the second one was at Powder Room, mentioned our podcast. And
they were like, to me, surprising ones.
Definitely. One person I barely know, and the other is somebody who like we've known for the last couple of years, but I certainly didn't know that she was a listener.
Yeah, it was really cool, and we're like, wow, okay, thanks. And I mean, hope you're getting something out of it and enjoying the ride with us. For
sure. And like again, it's just like cool, like having all these people come out of the woodwork, like saying it on a regular basis. So we certainly aren't going to stop doing it, but we want to make sure that it's valuable if it's being put out.
And last weekend we went to Squatch. They had a community workout. And when we were walking up to there, someone, I don't know who that person was, but he like rolled down the window and was like, "Hey guys."
Oh yeah,
Like, I'm listening to your podcast.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, who was that?
Yeah.
But that was someone you knew through the gym.
Yeah, he goes, I'm on episode 4. Yeah, that was really cool.
I was like, oh, okay,
I didn't know he was a listener either.
Exactly.
And then we were out.
Oh, my God, you called my name.
We were out to dinner with our friend a couple weekends ago, and she said that her friends were talking about it.
Yeah, they're like, do you know this couple that's in Austin that has a podcast?
So
I think the Questions podcast was what a lot of people saw and went around a lot, because our friends like even said like, you need to do like probably more of those, because that's what people like want to tune into. Even the people who don't necessarily listen, you're putting the clips on Instagram, that's catching their eye. And especially, of course, like some of the questions we got were definitely shocking. So it was fun. Repeat that.
So yeah, I mean I don't remember what the point of the conversation was, except to say, hey, if you're a fan and you listen, even if you're not a fan, if you're not a fan and you listen, I love hearing people that are listening, for better or worse. That's like a bit of very, very fun thing. And then I guess we'll talk about last night in a bit.
Oh yeah.
Because we met somebody else who has a podcast, and that was also like we had a little podcast banter with her, which was cool.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, some of the fun things we've done. I think we've done a lot of fun, nice things in the past couple weeks. One I've already mentioned, Squatch's community workout, which
since I'm a trainer there, they have a workout every month, and I have to.
Which people should totally check out.
Yeah, it was
in
fun.
Austin, it's a great community workout. It's outdoor. There's multiple stations.
Definitely.
Dynamic mobility movement, stuff you typically wouldn't probably do.
Come out, attend. They had some vendors there too, which was cool. That was a fun time. So I have to go at least once every 3 months or something like that, which won't be a problem because again, the reason why I'm training there is because it's so convenient and it was really fun. Yeah. And during especially when the weather's a little bit nicer, it was a little bit cold that morning and it was still beautiful. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's around the corner and it's an hour workout, great group of people, and then there was breakfast served and like you said, vendors.
So that's Squatch.
Yeah.
Squatch community workout. It's the last Saturday of every month. The last Saturday of every month if you're interested.
We'll be there in December.
Most of the time at least.
Well, I'm planning to go in December.
I think it's actually on New Year's Day, which I don't expect to be at. I do not expect to be working out on New Year's Day.
It's on New Year's Day? That's a Wednesday.
Yeah, I think that's the way they structured it this time.
Oh, okay.
I think they do. I don't know. Just usually it's the last Saturday of every month.
See us there in January. And then the next day after that, we went and celebrated Friendsgiving at Joe and Cece's house on Sunday.
Man, that was.
I know
that feels like it was forever ago. Yeah.
But to me, that was so special.
That was great.
Everyone brought their own food. I brought pasta marinara, the last container of my dad's marinara sauce.
Because last we left off, we had gone to True Luxe for Thanksgiving itself.
Yes, exactly.
And that was this was on Black Friday, so wow.
Yeah, and it's been a minute.
Oh man, it has been a minute, hasn't it? It's been longer than I thought.
But the Friendsgiving was nice.
It was beautiful.
Because with these are some of our closest friends that we did this with, and we enjoyed it. And Joe and Cece did such a great setup, and it was so magical. Their dining room setup with the tree there, and that was the.
Well, they're restaurateurs now, more or less.
That evening was for me. Finally, I felt okay, it's Christmas time. Yeah. Because I really did struggle, leading up to Thanksgiving. I was like, this doesn't feel like it. This is.
But you said that about Thanksgiving too. And then you said that Friendsgiving at Julia's
made me feel it's Thanksgiving time.
Yeah.
But now there. But now that really helped me.
No, it definitely did.
Spirit.
Yeah.
It was just so nice.
But then it still took us a whole week to get our decorations and our tree up.
But it's up.
It is.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about that weekend?
I don't think so.
Okay. Then we went to one of your clients' events, WordPress.
Oh, yeah.
Which I had no idea what I was getting myself into with WordPerfs.
Yeah, so client of mine, former coworker of mine, he's also an improv comic, and he just recently founded with a partner Dirty Gold Theater Company, I believe it's called. I know it's Dirty Gold. I think it's Dirty Gold Theater Company, and they do different shows that I don't know how many shows they have now, but their premiere monthly show that they do at Sterling Stage is WordPerf, where there's a different topic and people go up and they tell a true story, oftentimes a very vulnerable story, and injected with quite a bit of humor around various topics. So the first one was, oh man, I can't even remember specifically. This one was Home for the Holidays.
Home for the Holidays.
A lot of times they're it's WordPerf, so a lot of times the stories are sexual in nature. Or they're related to gender or some core theme of some sort. And apparently I am. I was supposed to do it already, and I got bumped twice I think that's the
Really?
industry term. You get bumped. Yeah. I was supposed to do
gosh.
November, and then he was like, "You'll do December," and now I'm bumped to February.
Yeah.
But listen, I haven't had time to prepare any kind of a story, so
And he
it's
said
probably for the best.
And your topic is.
I'm not gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
I
say.
don't want to say it because I thought you were going to try
No.
to practice the speech here sometime.
Yeah, I might like use this as a vessel
like the
to
real
like
comedians do, like
to.
Tony Hinchcliffe does on Kill Tony. He like riffs sometimes on,
Yeah.
on Kill Tony,
I
and
might-
then, like all of a sudden you see it in his stand up like 2 weeks later. You're like,
Or, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll riff it here and then perform it there, and then maybe come back and actually perform. Like, yeah, I don't know. But that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. It's be the first time really that I've done an official performance like that, I guess, like that I can remember.
yeah, I don't know what anything like the closest
I've spoken in front of crowds before, but I've never, and I've like done presentations
Yeah.
and like
You said presentations? I
presentations
said presentations.
and more serious stuff like that, like more like professional business stuff, but like never a performance. And
yeah, true.
I mean, I certainly want to get involved in that. Like, I guess this is
Some type of
some
performance.
type of performance, I guess. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to having that opportunity because I've said in the past I've always wanted to do stand up. This isn't exactly stand up; it's more storytelling. I did improv earlier. I did an improv class earlier this year for a couple months, which was so much fun, and that was a really good time.
Are you guys gonna try to do that again?
I have to
talked
go.
about it?
I want to do level 2. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will eventually. Yeah, I'm not like in a super rush to do it. I don't know where we find the time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We had to edit for a few reasons.
Yeah, but the workhouse was interesting. I kind of again didn't know what to expect going there, and I also
I went to one previous one,
Yeah.
so I knew what to expect. I went to the first one back
Yeah.
in like October or something.
yeah, and it was like a Wednesday night, and I was able to like move some stuff around. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go check it out because also like if you're gonna be up and doing it, I wanted to kind of see like what you were gonna be doing.
This way, I mean, if you needed to come because I'm going to be bouncing this off of you, and I
For
need to make
sure.
sure that you're aware of like the vibe of the thing.
Yeah,
Man, my legs are really
I
all
know.
out.
The people that are there, the setup of it, and just really get an idea of how this looks.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
The stories were great, and
Yeah.
like you said, very vulnerable. Some were funny, of course,
Yeah.
like adding some kind of something, but a lot of it was people going up, and especially like holidays. A lot of people do have like more, I feel like, emotional stories.
Yeah, for sure.
And it like adds this extra emotion, and people were like tearing up. Like it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
So I liked it a lot.
It's like beautiful and fun and
Yeah.
like, serious at times. It's cool. I'm really pumped to have even been asked to do it, even though I got bumped twice. But I'm still really looking forward to it. And again, I
They're
think,
gonna bump you again once they see you up there, honey.
and then I'll go there and then I'll put my name in the bucket on Kill Tony.
Get your minute in.
Although I will say, this
Breaking news.
isn't really breaking
Oh.
news, but we love comedy, and
Comedy.
this comedy crew, they're like the old Austin comedians, not old, but like they're the original group of Austin comedians that like was here prior to the comedy
The
boom.
ones that are at this theater.
The
improv
Word Perv
kids?
and the Dirty Gold, like they are like the Hideout Theater.
Okay.
I don't know all the names. I'm not gonna pretend to, and I'll probably embarrass myself if I do. But like all the older comedy clubs and improv studios here in Austin, they kind of have a beef with the new influx of comedians.
Really?
So they like don't like Kill Tony. So me saying even that I would go on Kill Tony is probably something I want to avoid when I'm on there.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
They're like,
But also, I mean, those comedians, you hear it all the time. Whenever like someone on Kill Tony or something like that goes up, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, I'm an improv comic or something comedian." They kind of like there is like this weird like respect level thing that
yeah, I don't know. Joy, please stop.
it's the mouse.
There was a mouse when I opened the door earlier. There was the second time I saw it. I didn't know what it was the first time, and it ran right from like where that hose is over under the.
You can never leave that back door open.
Yeah,
No.
pretty gross. Joy, please stop.
She sees it.
Okay.
One more. She got one more in. And then you mentioned it.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring.
But there was a mouse.
But there is a mouse.
Oh my gosh. And then last night, after my emotional breakdown in the car ride home, I got out of work.
So this really is us recapping our weekend and talking about how smart we are.
No, not how smart.
Well, I think we're going to get there.
Yeah, we will. So again, I got out of work late and we had to get to this thing. As like I'm 5 minutes from the house and the event was starting in like 3 minutes. So I was like, we're gonna be late to this thing, but it didn't really matter. But like that stress of not having that like just 10 minutes for myself to get into the house, change, get ready. Like I had to rush. And so like
you didn't really explain what happened.
So last night we had another event to go to. And like I said earlier, that yesterday I had a little bit of an emotional breakdown. I got out of work about 30 minutes late than I wanted to. The event was starting at 6. I got out of work at like 5:35. And on my way home, I'm talking to you on the phone, feeling burnt out, feeling stressed, feeling I'm being pulled in 1,000 directions, having that like emotional moment. And you just talked me through and you said, okay, we're like, this is again just a momentary thing. Let's look at the big picture. Joy. I'm being serious now.
Mm-hmm.
And so you helped me to get through it and stayed on the phone with me just to keep me calm. And you gave me the option. You're like, do you want to go to this thing or not? Like, we can just chill at home. And I said, no, like, let's go. We told this person we would go. And I think it'd be a great thing to go do. And yes, I'm having a moment. And I am so happy that we went to the event.
Yeah, it was
last
cool.
night.
So it was called Hot Takes, Hot Dates. And it's a singles event.
Which, yeah, go ahead and explain, I guess,
So,
my reason.
The guy who runs it invited us. I had coffee with him a couple months ago, and I saw that he was doing the thing, and he said, you guys should come. And I was like, but it's a singles event.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but like whatever, like it doesn't matter, like everybody's welcome. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I had planned to go.
Yeah.
It was right in our neighborhood too, which made it like even easier to like go to on a little bit of a whim. And I made sure to like text him ahead of time, like again, like we're coming as a married couple. I just want to make sure, like I literally, like the text said, like I want to make sure that's not gonna like F up the vibe.
For sure. I mean, well, because earlier this week when you said like we're gonna go to this thing, I was like, yeah, let's go. And then the more you explained it to me, I was like, this is like a singles event. Like I'm very confused as to why we're going to this. And I was like, please make sure we're like cool to go to this.
So I definitely confirmed, and I was like, dude, like I'd love to go, but like I also don't want to like, I don't know, like make it weird, I guess, or something. So he was like, sure, come along. And then as we're walking in, we're like checking in, and he was like, oh, this is the married couple I was telling you about. We're the married couple.
We're the only couple.
So we're the only couple here. So he even said that at the beginning he was going to ask who's single and who's in a couple or in a relationship. And he asked, and we were like literally the only two that like raised our hand in the entire place. So, but it was still like a ton of fun. It was a really good time, and nobody seemed to be that weirded out. We did get asked. Well, we got actually asked multiple times.
Yeah. But before we get to that, or we can say that. So like, someone we actually know was there, and she saw us there, and she's like, "What are you guys doing here?" And like, before I could even answer, she straight up goes, "Are you guys swingers?" And then like you filled in like the answer of like, "Oh, well, we were here because so and so invited us." Well, like you explained the story. And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, and then you had people at your table,
and you can get the answer to that question in episode 28. Don't be defensive, or maybe 29. Don't be defensive. We asked that question, so, or somebody asked that question, so you can get the answer to it there. But there was like, so everybody's at different tables. There's like eight different tables. And you can almost think of it as trivia, only instead of like trying to get an answer right, you're trying to have the hottest take on an opinion question. So every table gets a different topic, and you have to, and everybody at the table discusses like what is like, everybody gives their hot take on that topic. So like topics were like ghosting,
opposites attract,
hot take,
friends with benefits,
getting hit on at the gym. The one that we got at our table was open relationship, which is why like everybody at the table was then like, "Are you guys in an open relationship?" It makes perfect sense. And we're sitting at different tables too because we got
waving to each other like, hey.
But they broke us up on purpose.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. It was perfect.
So like we should have been, but like that was interesting. And then so then like everybody gives their hot take on that particular topic. You choose which one is the hottest take, and then they go up and kind of get like interviewed, and they give the hot take, and then everybody votes on like what's the hottest take. It's very fun.
It's like truly like for going to a singles event.
It was about as much fun as you could have as a couple at a singles event.
I thrive in that kind of setting where I'm like, throw me into like a group of strangers and let's talk. And the conversations that were had, the things people were saying, people like my group was ghosting. The people's conversations and stories of like ghosting stories were like,
the ghosting one won.
Huh? Yeah, our story won. But like it was so interesting to sit there because sure we have had plenty of friends who talk to us about like the dating scene in Austin, but there you are with there's like 80 people there, like group of people all talking about like the dating scene in Austin, what it's like. The next group we had to be with was like what's your biggest ick, and there was a group of 8 of us. 3 of the guys that were there basically all said that they can't be with a woman who's rude to waitstaff. And I couldn't believe that they've been on dates with women
There's that
who are
many
rude.
people that are rude to waitstaff.
I'm like, you all have been on, and they're like, yeah, multiple times.
Yeah,
like these, and I could not believe that. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Still showing. What was I gonna say? The reason I think the way that we can like justify going, aside from being invited, is like as relationship coaches. I think it's really fascinating. I have been endlessly fascinated with the dating scene situation in 2024 in Austin.
Yeah.
Like we hear so many stories, so much bizarre shit from both sides, men and women, and both of y'all are fucking wrong.
Yeah, like the fact that like
guys are more wrong though. The dudes, I would say the dudes are more wrong than the women in most cases, from what I've heard. But
yeah, but they're like they don't know how to act because like
women's
also wrong.
No,
I think they're both wrong.
They're both wrong. There's no doubt. Men and women are both stupid.
Females are out there looking for the red flags and the icks.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's
for
your
sure.
problem.
Yeah, I totally listen. I said that
I know.
a couple weeks ago. I'm also this is the misogynist talking. Just to be clear, the misogynist is talking, so you just hold still and let me mansplain my opinion really quick. A misogynist is talking, honey.
Oh my God, you're gonna get
so I've said men and women are both really fucking stupid. They're just stupid in very different ways. But I would say in general, and this is where like, is it misogynist? A little bit interesting take. The men are wrong because they should be taking charge and they're not.
Well, because a lot of women like just do want to be like courted.
But that's
but
what I'm
they
saying.
also are told by society that they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like
but that's
really
what I'm saying.
Situation.
That's what I'm saying. Well, the women are too masculine, which makes the guys nervous around them. But like, the guys can fix that just by like growing a pair. So that's what I would. That's why I think it's not. I don't see that necessarily as the woman's fault as much as the guy's fault.
I saw this awesome meme today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this, so we might have to cut this out. But it's the photo of the CEO from United who got shot. Did you see this?
No.
So it's a photo of him, and it's just a photo of Luigi, the shooter. And on the top, above the CEO, it says, the man that men think women want, and then the man that women actually want. Like on top of Luigi's photo. And it was funny. I LOL'd out, and I liked it. Jared said a really bad joke.
You might be able to guess. At least what it was about. Never mind.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next hot takes, and I want to bring like single people there.
Yeah, I would definitely tell people to
go.
go. It was super fun. The thing I liked about it, especially again, being relationship coaches, and going to something like that, you certainly learn a lot, and you learn what certain patterns seem to be as far as dating is concerned, and how people are early on in the relationship. But the coolest part was that the idea is you're giving a hot take. So the idea is to sort of be controversial and give like your less like PC opinion on something, because so many dating opportunities or dating apps or whatever is designed to help you figure out what you have in common. But like figuring out what you have in common is actually like relatively easy. Like the hard part is figuring out where you disagree on. And the point of this is to get people to find like where they disagree. Yeah. And that I think is like a brilliant way of starting the relationship. Let's start on where we disagree, and then let's work backwards from there. I love that idea. I thought that was like actually like borderline genius.
Yeah.
Maybe even completely genius.
There might be a genius at work at hot takes.
And they were great at hosting it too.
They were really good.
So there was some genius at work there. There was a lot of genius at work there.
For sure. That was a wonderful event.
And it was our first time at Cabana Club, which was actually like cooler than I thought. I every time I see it on Instagram or I drive past it, I go, that place looks disgusting. But it was actually like decorated nice for Christmas with like a Harry Potter theme, which like isn't my thing, but it was very cute. Yeah. I liked it. I was cozy, having good vibes in there, having a lot of really fun conversations. Consistently over and over again explaining why I'm married and at a singles event. There was a guy who walked up to me, he's like, I was confused when I saw you here.
Yeah, we know in Austin was basically like, what are you two doing? And we're like, oh, yeah, this looks bizarre for sure.
Right, but we'll be back.
There's a guy who just like started chatting us up when we first got there, and then he's like, I gotta walk away because my friends are gonna ask how was the singles event, and I'm gonna tell them I spent the whole night talking to a married couple.
Sorry,
joy interruptions.
We've had to edit several times now. Only once because of a bad joke I made. That's the only time I think I'll ever cut out anything that I said.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely get bumped from work perps if anyone hears that joke.
Or like, I don't know if like there's YouTube issues either, but whatever.
Oh yeah.
Or Spotify or whatever. Yeah. All right.
I think I kind of mentioned it earlier. We were with a friend who we did a great workout on it with her, and she's a listener. And she's pretty much
one of the first super fans. One of the first Genius at Work podcast super fans. She
found out we had a podcast, and she's like, okay. And like the next time we met up with her like a week later, she was like caught up on the episodes, and she's like definitely listens, and so much appreciate that.
And she always gives good feedback.
Very good feedback. And so we finished the workout, and she's like, okay, do you guys want feedback? In my head, I thought she was going to give feedback about like the workout and how you coached or something. I wasn't expecting it. She's like, it's about the podcast. And I was like, oh, definitely. And
it's funny because I was thinking, I knew when she said that it was going to be about the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. Because there's zero feedback you can give me on my workout.
Okay. So, anyhow. So she said that, when she first started listening, and this was my intention of the podcast, was that we would come to it with topics and things that we have done in our lives, the lessons we've learned, things we do like our meditation, our gratitude practice, how we then apply that to our lives and how others can. Kind of like a really, just a platform for inspiring somebody. And what it has kind of turned into is like we do some of that, but then like we joked about it earlier where it's like we catch up like half the episode of like what we've been doing.
Yep.
But for me, like I do like the storytelling and keeping people up to date, but kind of getting back to the idea of helping people, inspiring people to, with the things we've done, the lessons we've learned, and how people can take that for their life.
I think for me, the idea is like, it's a few things. When we first started the podcast, when we first started it 7 months ago or whatever it is, like I'm acting as if it was like years ago. We're on episode, this is like 33, I think, which is pretty cool. Yeah,
I was actually thinking today, I was like, episode are we at?
So we started it, And I had a lot to say. Like, I had a ton to say. And that's like part of like what the book was about, is about. And that was a lot of like me just like coming out of like a corporate career and like having a lot to say about that and what that experience was like. And even like just kind of getting started with like making content on Instagram and like trying to like just making a pivot from like what I was doing to like what I do now, which is whatever this is. I just had like a lot to say, a lot that I wanted to say, a lot to make sure that like people like knew about me, I guess, like even like law school stuff. So like I was just like, we'll just talk about our life and the things that we've done and our beliefs and our practices and everything up. But again, like you run out after 33 episodes. It's kind of like I've said that.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that there haven't been like updates, but the bulk of it was out. And I didn't want to like continuously rehash the same things over and over again. I already feel like we talk about gratitude pretty frequently. I talk about meditation a lot, but I didn't think that I needed to make like an entire episode about those things necessarily, like over and over again. But I do think that there's value to that. People don't listen to it like every single episode. There's always new ways to apply it to like how we're living our life now versus even just a few months ago, or like what's happening in our life now versus just a few months ago. So I'm all for it. Like I think that makes a lot more sense. And that was the idea initially, was again, like we're telling a narrative and we're weaving in like the lessons like that we've learned through it.
Yeah. And I think like as we started this episode today is talking about how busy we are, and again we're signing up for this.
Yep.
We are still filming this podcast, doing our work. You're dealing with your clients. I have like my patients at my work. We have our workouts, our mindfulness practices. Like we're still doing it all.
Yep.
And I think that is something that a lot of people do struggle with, is figuring out that balance and like doing all of the things that they put on their plate and doing like getting it all done, not cutting anything out, not cheating your way out, or just being like, oh, well, it's the holidays. I guess I'll start fresh in January.
I'm having, I mean, not the majority of my clients, but a higher percentage than I probably thought, like just over the last several months, like either like completely like ghosting the workouts or being like very, very unresponsive, or saying like, hey, things are so hectic, like not able to like prioritize this as highly. And like, again, it's a few out of several dozen, but it still is like really interesting to see how like somebody who comes so motivated and says all the right things that they want for themselves and like has a vision and has a goal and wants to really demonstrate that they can be consistent and they can plow through, how even those people, like, you know, they aren't able to maintain it, maintain that consistency.
Not able to maintain it
because they're not prioritizing appropriately. They say that they want to prioritize it, but if you want to prioritize something, then you prioritize it. You prioritize first. That's identifying what your goals are. Then you plan accordingly, and then you take action on that plan. So they're not prioritizing it. And
you did use the word motivation.
Yeah, because motivation is an emotion. Emotions are fleeting. And if you're doing something based on an emotion and that is your driving factor, well, you can expect that you're not going to have that tomorrow or the next day or 3 months from now. Yeah. Because, like, again, what is important is consistency. What is important is having a plan. You can't expect to make the right decision in the moment if you're going based on your emotions. That's why you create a plan. You manage your emotions through presence, through mindfulness, through meditation, through gratitude, and then you just let the plan that you dictated when you were in a good state determine how you act right now in the present. It's that fucking easy. It actually is really fucking simple.
Yeah. I mean, I had a moment of like not being able to see that yesterday.
I know.
I was just like, the world is crumbling and I'm falling apart. And it's like,
and I have been there too.
I know.
But what do?
We stick to the plan.
We stick to the fucking plan. We do.
It works out.
Of course it does.
I know. But, so like, okay, so say someone is, so like, what do you say to your clients? Let's start with your clients, and then we'll just say like someone who's not your client.
I am not going to like give any information away, but I'll just say that there's one person who I just literally have not heard from. Yeah. Which is like a little concerning, honestly. Like, it's actually like quite concerning, I would say. There's another person who, like, little by little, like, again, the reason why people fail and the reason why people like end up just completely not going to the gym is mainly because it's not truly prioritized. And again, if you're prioritizing something, then you have to plan for it and then you act on that plan. If you are not planning for something, then that means you're going to get it in when it works for you, which means you're making it, you're doing it out of how convenient it is for you. And if you're doing that, then you haven't actually prioritized it. You've just said, I'll get to it when I can. Mm-hmm. That's not prioritizing something. That's actually like that's like not prioritizing it. If you don't actually tell yourself when and how and what you're gonna do. So, like, where was I?
You're telling the reason, like, you're talking about the person who little by little.
Oh, yeah. So, with this person in particular, I noticed that, like, it was a gradual thing where first it was, I am not going to work out at the gym anymore. I'm going to work, or no, I'm sorry. It was, I want to go from 4 days to 3 days. Uh-huh. Even though he told me that he could commit to 4 days. So you told me that you didn't actually commit to 4 days. You said you could commit to 4 days and then you didn't commit to it. Yeah. Because again, a commitment means if you commit to something, it means you had to prioritize it effectively. And if you prioritize something effectively, it means you have to plan for it and you have to take action on that plan. So he didn't actually prioritize it. So he had to move down to 3 days. Then it went from the gym, I'm working out at the gym, to I'm gonna work out at home. Mm-hmm. And like once you let one little thing slip,
yeah, you start to find other
ways. Find other ways to start to like back out of the commitment, quote unquote, that you made. And I say commitment in quotes, and I say it kind of jokingly, I say it kind of mockingly, because people use the term commitment way too lightly. I've said that before, way too lightly. You either commit to something or you don't. Mm-hmm. You don't kind of commit to it, and you don't like commit to it and then like ease up on the commitment. Mm-hmm. So then eventually he was just like, work is too much. This other thing is too much. This other thing is too much. I just like, I can't like make this happen anymore. And it's like, okay, well, what actually happened was he said, I can't find the time. I can't prioritize it. And I was like, well, that's not true. You could you're yeah, well, that's first off, yeah. He did do it before. Yeah, so
you found something else that's now the priority.
Yeah, you're allowing life to dictate your priorities. Well, you're always in charge of your priorities. You can just, it takes onus off of your plate when you can say that other things are dictating your priorities. You are always choosing your priorities, always. So when you say that work is really busy or that this other thing is getting like out of hand, it's like, yeah, that's because you're making them a priority. Like, there's no way that like working as like, I'm not going to say, but I'll just say there's no way that your job is actually taking up that much time or is genuinely that stressful. And if it is, and you can't at least somewhat prioritize your health over it, then like, you got other problems, dude. Yeah, like, why are you working there? Like, let's figure out, like, are you happy? that it's taking this much time, that this thing that you just said literally 10 months ago was the most important thing is now no longer as important because your job has gotten out of hand, and it's gotten so out of hand that you don't think that there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, so you ditch the whole thing completely, and guess what? You go right back to where you are. So this is a conversation with somebody who like I was having the conversation with. So my point was, you can prioritize it. In fact, guess what? That's what I'm really fucking good at, is helping people come up with a plan. I'm not saying that you have to stay and keep doing the same thing that you're doing right now, but if you truly did want to prioritize it, I can help you. Let's find out how many days you have, how much time you have in those days, where you're gonna do it. Let's fit it in. Let's look at your calendar and see where we could find some time, because I bet you there is some time there. You don't want to admit it, and you certainly don't want me to look at your calendar, because if I did, we would find the hours of time that you actually have throughout the course of a week. I'm not actually saying this, but this is the gist of the conversation. We could find that time. If you want to prioritize it, well then, we can prioritize it. We can make that work. I'm good at that. We can figure this out. It's another question if you simply don't want to prioritize it, you don't want to find that time, and you'd rather say, you know what, it was important to me, I thought it was more important to me than it actually is, it's not. And like the reality is, like, my job in order to hold you accountable is either to get you to do the thing that you said you wanted to do, or get you to say, I don't want to do it anymore. Exactly.
Yeah, I think and that's where people struggle.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to admit that they can't do something, or that they don't want to do something. That's something they said they were going to do.
Because it's called cognitive dissonance. It's the most uncomfortable thing. It's something that I use it in my sales career. I use it in my coaching career. Saying one thing and doing another, and then being confronted with that discrepancy. Nothing makes somebody more like emotionally reactive. It is like a almost universal trigger. Mm-hmm. And it is a powerful tool, and it's one that I have to use in my coaching, because you told me this was your goal. You are not doing this thing. How do you reconcile that?
Yeah. And they'd rather just ghost you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been ghosted. It's fine. I'll be ghosted. And like, you have to keep in mind, like, I am not like harsh. this is me like truly behind the scenes, like how I feel about it.
You tell me these stories and I like start going off about the people.
And
I'm gonna send a voicemail.
I am not any more overbearing than a personal trainer should be. I am not like following up with people on like every single day, or like even remotely. It's like maybe a couple times a week. I literally am always asking, like, how can I help? Yeah. What can we do to fix this? What time do we have? How can we make it work? And again, this is only like 3 people.
Yeah, I know.
So like, it's not like, but it's the, I had and then the third one, the person was like, listen, I know that this is your passion, but we have other priorities. And it's like, listen, like texting you to like tell you to work out is definitely not my passion. You were like very adamant about the fact that you wanted to get in shape and you like wanted to be healthy, like literally healthier in general. I have given you all the tools to do so, and I'm texting you a couple times a week to make sure that it's getting done. Like, that is them having an emotional response, putting it on me and going, well, he's crazy because he's jacked and he works out every day. That's not me. I'm not saying that you have to work out like me. I'm not saying that you have to be as passionate about working out as me. You said you wanted to get in shape, and I am like doing my best to hold you accountable.
Yeah, you're the problem. It's your passion to hold them accountable. Yeah.
So like, I'm probably saying way too much here, but I don't care. It's the truth.
They've heard this conversation.
But it's also like, it's also a matter of like, if you work with me as a client, you are either going to see the results that you want to see because you have the right plan, you are taking action on that plan effectively, and you're executing on it effectively, and you're being consistent with it. Mm-hmm. You will get to your end goal if you follow the plan. Yeah. If you don't get to the end goal, the only excuse is that you didn't follow the plan, and if that's the case, then you have to admit that you didn't prioritize the plan.
And no one's going to want to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But like, if you're walking away from my coaching, you are either in great shape or you have a better understanding of what the fuck commitment means.
Yeah. For sure.
So that's where I leave you.
Well, say for a non-client and like just someone listening or someone who's at the time of year and they have all the things they want to get to and social obligations and events and work and
yeah, I do too.
Yes, of course, we all do. I know, understand that. But what would you suggest to someone who is struggling with trying to get it all done and maintaining their, because number one, it should always be like your mental, emotional, physical well-being. Like
sure,
personally,
of course. Yeah,
like if
of
you
course
want
it
to
should
be like, so say someone
But
has
it's
all
not.
these goals.
It's
in
not.
their life.
It's the like. They don't. But most people don't prioritize that. Most people prioritize work over that. Most people would say, and this is part of my videos. I say most people would say that they would prioritize their health over their career. They would prioritize being healthy over making money. Most people would say that, but most people live in direct opposition to that. The reason they don't go to the gym is because work is too busy, work is too hectic. Yeah. The reason they don't eat well, and the reason why like they make they eat fast food or something convenient and something shitty is because they don't have time to make their meals because work is too busy, or like it's so easy to just grab whatever's like right down the street.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or have something delivered, DoorDash it. It's like, yeah, so you are doing the exact opposite. You're not sticking to your principles. You're abiding by practicality. Practicality comes from convenience. Whenever something is convenient, it's more practical. So you abide by practicality as opposed to abiding by your principles. And, man, I've been losing my train of thought. I'm like going, but where was I?
I was asking for like what you would suggest to someone, like one thing that.
What was I saying though?
You were talking about
Jesus.
The practicality versus principles,
Yeah.
and like you're saying that someone struggles with it because they're not following their principles. Because people can live by, say they prioritize their health over money. Sorry. They prioritize their health over money, but people actually live the opposite of that.
So, yeah, I guess my point was just simply to say, like, you should be prioritizing your own physical and mental well-being at a minimum above your career. And if your career is not allowing that, then like find a different career. Like, what is wrong with you? Like your career should not be causing you physical or emotional or mental distress like that. And like, if it is, you have to figure out like what the solution is. What do you keep looking at?
Huh?
What do you?
I was just looking at the screen. That's all.
Okay. So, like, that is, I think, something that like most people need to like wildly reevaluate.
But people probably don't because they're comfortable and like they would have to really dig into like what they actually want, who they are, and so a lot of people don't do that.
Of course.
So.
And it's also easier to say you're stressed out at work than to go do squats.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. And
that is for sure.
are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you with yourself?
I don't know.
But back to the question is, if someone is struggling and they want to maintain all those things, what would be something that they should do first step to get in the right direction?
Use your calendar.
Okay.
Figure out what you want to do in a week. Write those things down in a list. 1 through 12, 1 through 20, 1 through 3. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Work out, work, cook food, and then like whatever else you have to do. Write those things down. Mm-hmm. And then put them on your calendar. And when it comes time to do that on your calendar, you just do that thing. Well, something always comes up, or what if this comes up? Well, then you're prioritizing that. Is that your priority? Well, it might have to be. No, it doesn't have to be. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be. And like, if you are stacking your calendar so aggressively that you can't fit in whatever little weird thing might pop up, well then like you're prioritizing too many things. So let's figure out what we should actually be prioritizing. Well, I have to watch Netflix because I love that show. Like, no, you don't. You don't. Well, I need to decompress at the end. No, you don't. You don't. Your day sucks if you have to decompress after it. Like, find a better day. Make a better day. Start with your calendar.
Okay. I mean, that's for sure. Like, yeah, if you have.
Oh, it's easy for you to say you run your own. But yeah, well, you can run your own business too if you wanted to. Figure out what your passion is. Well, I don't because I don't have time. Well, yeah, you could. If you used a calendar, you'd find time to find your passion. And when it comes time on the calendar, you just do the fucking thing the calendar says. It's that fucking easy. It's that easy. You put your calendar together when you are in a good state of mind, when you're feeling good about your week, when you can visualize what you want to accomplish out of your life, when you're not in a state of disarray. Which, like, if you're in a constant state of disarray, then just meditate. But the only thing on your calendar you have to put on your calendar is meditate. It's the only thing you have to do in your day. If you're in that much of a state of disarray that you can't find 20 good minutes to put your calendar together. When you're in a good, clear state. Put it together during that 20 minutes. And then when you feel like shit throughout the week and you're going, well, I don't want to go to the gym right now. I'm tired. I want to watch this. I want to go and hang out with my friends, or I want to go out and get a drink. I don't feel like doing the thing that the good me said to do. You tell that bitch inside of you to shut the fuck up and you do the thing that's on the calendar. Until you're not in a state of disarray. Until your day feels a little bit better. Until you're in more physical, mental, and emotional, better physical, mental, and emotional shape. On an ongoing basis. You don't have to worry about the past. You don't have to worry about the future. You don't have to worry about doing it over and over and over again. You just have to do it right now. When the calendar says to do it, you do it. That's your roadmap that you built for yourself based on the person who you want to be. It's the roadmap to the person you want to be. If I gave you a roadmap to a place, you wouldn't say, I'm going to take some weird detours. I'm not going to follow this 100%. Sometimes we'll see what comes up. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll go right here, but maybe I'll go left because something might come up where I have to go left. No, you don't do that. You just follow the fucking map. When it comes to a recipe, you don't start making random adjustments to the recipe. If somebody says, if you say, those are the best cookies I ever had in my life, how do you make those cookies? You don't start fucking with the ingredients or the times or the temperatures. You just fucking do what the recipe says. So like, why is that so easy? But then you put something on your calendar, why can't you stick to it? It doesn't make sense. Just be present in the moment. Stop worrying about doing it over and over again. Do it now. If you're doing it now, if you're doing the right thing now, then you're always doing the right thing. So if you need advice, there you go. And if you really need advice, you know where to find me.
So...
Was that clear?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Passionately clear.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was good, for sure. I mean...
That was a good little rant. I haven't ranted like that in a minute.
ranted
Yeah, that was good.
Did you feel good?
Yeah. Yeah, I felt good.
Real good. You looked good doing it, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Up there?
You smirking. Waiting for my massage tonight.
Yeah. So, here's another thing that we made time for. Maybe we'll wrap up on this now.
What are we going to wrap up on?
I was going to wrap up saying that with all the things that we have going on, with all the workouts I've never skipped, with all the workouts you've never skipped.
Yeah, I mean, this week because of work, because of my work schedule being late, and the other things we had to do at night, I now have to adjust my week, and I have to work out on Saturday and Sunday, which is not ideal, but it's on my I have to do those things, so I'm prioritizing it. I'm going to adjust my, some things on the weekend to get my workouts in because it's important to me. And I'm still going to be able to get everything done. It's just, things have to shift.
Yeah.
But, I'm prioritizing it and I'm shifting my schedule to make it work. I have just as much time as somebody else in a day does, and I make every use of every single moment I have.
And sometimes that gets fucking stressful. Yeah. Sometimes you do get out of your mind. Sometimes you cry and you call somebody and you say, I'm losing it. Yeah. And sometimes you don't have somebody to talk you down. Mm-hmm. And that's why you have to be able and willing to talk yourself down. Mm-hmm. But like, it does get hard. I have been there. I've been there several times this year. I had panic attacks almost. I had panic attacks, and in part it was due to that, me running myself into the ground. But that's what happens when you play at the ceiling. Mm-hmm. And then the second that you get back, like people with the holidays, they go, well, I gotta like, it doesn't matter, like I'm gonna eat like shit for the next few months or next month, and I'm gonna be out drinking, and I'm not gonna get as good of sleep, and I'm gonna not get to the gym as frequently, and I got all this other stuff, and you start making all these excuses, and like that just becomes the repeated pattern of behavior. You go really hard, you get in good shape, and then you go, I'm good, I don't have to go to the gym quite so frequently. You know what, I don't think I will move from a 4-day a week to a 3-day a week. And then I'm actually only gonna go to the gym a couple times. I'm gonna start working out at home. I'm gonna work out every day at home. I'm gonna work out 2 days at home. I'm gonna go for a jog when I can fit it in. I'm not working out anymore. I've lost every gain that I had, and now I feel like shit. I'm guilty. I'm in a doom loop, and I need to wait till I'm motivated again to go to the gym and find a personal trainer, and who hopefully is able to hold me accountable. Yeah, and time for another New Year's resolution, and then you get in that same loop over and over again. You go, I don't know why I can't stick with this. It's because you haven't been playing at the ceiling. It's because you've allowed yourself to make excuses. We play at the ceiling. Yes, it gets stressful from time to time. But when we get to that point, we know how to make adjustments accordingly because we have a plan. We have a plan that we can adjust accordingly. Yeah. And sometimes, if you want to truly prioritize things appropriately, well then, sometimes you get out of work late, you have a little bit of a stressful hour. We head to a thing that actually was like a lot of fun. Yeah. We have to then have a full day of work today, shoot a podcast at 7 o'clock at night. Yeah. That is now what time? It's 8:30. Mm-hmm. It's 8:30 right now. And what I've also prioritized is as soon as we're done here, we're going to shower, we're going to have a quick dinner, and then I'm going to give you a massage on the couch upstairs, because that's what I've planned. That's what I've prioritized, that's what I've planned, and that's what I'm going to take action on.
And I just get to receive a massage.
Yeah, but like you've prioritized getting a massage. So like, there's always time for everything. There's always time for everything, and I haven't skipped a workout, so. Don't say you can't, say you don't want to. Yeah.
Be honest with yourself.
Don't say you're committed if you're just motivated. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit nasty. That's bad energy for the Christmas tree. Let's sage this thing. Let's sage it. Let's put some incense on. Let's grab that coconut oil. And let's go get you a massage, boo.
Sounds good to me.
All right. I hope that wasn't too much. I had to vent a little bit.
You haven't done it in a while. So
yeah, that was good.
Fine.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's just like...
Yeah, it's part of the experience. All right. See you guys.
Red by Will.